podcast from Traci and Amber is, I think it's really cool, and that is what I wanted to say.
Two and a mic. Two and a mic. Two and a mic. Amber and Traci from The Road to Tarvalon, a Wheel of Time podcast, do not need a long intro, as the entertainment factor they bring with their immense characters, fun-loving approach to work, and pure conversational energy says it all. I have often commented on how much I have to learn from them and their podcasts, the expertise of their editing, the planning of their topics, and the way in which they intuitively know when to jump into a sentence. The timing, delivery, and message are all simply on point. Today we get a bit more background into the creating of a great podcast, the considerations that are made for content and editing, and also the requisite determination and dedication to stick to the plan, add to the plan, and still be effective conversationalist partners week after week after week. Thank you both for your time once again. Wonderful.
Off we go.
Excellent.
Off we go.
Yeah, I never know how to introduce you guys because I always enjoy hearing your own introductions so well. So
I'm here with my friend Amber.
Exactly, and I mean that just works so well that anything I could try would just sort of pale into insignificance. But anyway, I'll do my best. So yeah, I have the wonderful ladies of The Road to Tarvalon here, Amber and Traci. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always great to have you. And I know that I cannot click on my mute button because the last time I clicked on the mute button, Amber used it against me somehow, and made me really regret doing it. Yeah, do you remember the last time that we did the introduction on your show? You did your wonderful "I'm here with my friend" and so on, and then Amber did it, and "I'm here with my friend Zach," and I had just clicked on mute, and I was then I was like fumbling, trying to unmute. And but yeah, so it's always an adventure with you guys. How have you been? Really busy. What's going on?
Oh God.
No kidding, right? Where do you want us to start?
Yeah,
really. Give us an area you want us to start in. There's too much.
Yeah, there is actually. All right, let's go back a little bit then, because
cool.
All right, so after you celebrated your first year of doing podcast, and then at some point you decided, you know what, we're going to start doing video content as well, and you really started building up your video content library on YouTube. How's that coming along?
it's fun.
It is.
I prefer editing video over audio any day of the week. Mm-hmm. So I think it's always really entertaining to do that.
Does it give you a more creative element, or yeah?
Yeah.
Your visual
definitely.
design capabilities are just like light years ahead of mine. So whenever you edit a video, it always looks really good. And when I do it, it looks like an 8th grader put together a school project.
I don't think it looks that bad. No.
Well, thank you. Maybe a freshman in high school? I don't know. I like doing video. I'm far more comfortable with it than I thought I would be, but I think it's because it's still Amber and I having a video conversation with each other, which we've been doing for like a year already anyway. So at this point, there's like a comfort around having a video discussion where it's not like, I don't necessarily think, oh my gosh, we're recording this until after we're kind of done, because if I focus on it, I'll just be like, and I mean, I'm already stumbly enough. I don't need like additional nerves to make me like lose more of what I want to say. So I have to like push it back. Like, but then it's like, oh my gosh, we have stuff on YouTube and it's really fun.
But you guys have become really comfortable. I mean, you must be super comfortable with your voices anyway now, because I mean, I think before you even started the road to Tarvalon, you both experienced podcasting and other kinds of audio things anyway, I think. But you must be super comfortable with your voices now anyway. But then also to be so comfortable with the video too. I mean, this must be just a great feeling. I mean, somebody could stick a video camera. Seriously, I mean, you could be walking down the street and somebody could stick a video camera in your faces, and you'd be like, "Oh no, this angle, okay," and then you just go for it.
I'd more be like, "I'm sorry, what? Get back."
I don't know. Like, I think there's something about like editing it yourself to the point where you know nothing. You can clip anything weird out, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, God forbid my plant falls over in the background. That's gone.
Yeah. Gnats flying around in your space occasionally. Like, you have, like, clapping
Thanks,
sounds.
Thanks, Traci, for putting me on blast. Thanks. The dogs running about Traci's back room, tearing up her furniture.
Absolutely. Barking out the back window right behind me because they can't control their poor doggy brains. I'm shaking my fist. I know you guys can't see it, but that's like, that's just how our life. Yeah. They're intense. Like, everything about, like, the background stuff can be really intense. But you get to clip that out.
Yeah, but I mean, how much have you guys sort of changed with regards to that? So, as in, you didn't. I'm not sure if you had these expectations when you first did your first show with the Road to Tarvalon. If you kind of knew where you were going to be going, so you knew it was going to be a long journey because I mean, there's a lot of chapters to read.
Yeah.
But did you expect you to sort of develop in the way that you? Because you've got so much. You've got your original podcast. You've got the YouTube channel. You've got your online community, and I can never remember the name of this. What is this app? This Discord. That's it. You've got your online Discord community. You've got your Road to Tarvalon, I suppose, other social media accounts. And then you've also started doing something else, which I haven't mentioned yet because I want to come back to that later and ask you how that's going. So, I mean, did you ever in your wildest dreams imagine that you'd be doing half as many things as you are now connected to this project?
No, but the thing is after one thing happens, then there's always, I feel like, oh, should we be doing this? And I think too, for anyone that's doing any type of content creation out there, there's always that thought in the back of your head, like, am I putting things out where enough people can see them? Am I advertising enough for myself? Am I being like my best spokesperson? And sometimes that aspect can be a little bit draining as far as like always feeling tethered to social media. But at the same time, I mean, let's be honest, our phones are in our pockets all day and it's always there. So it's just up to me how much I decide to open it or not.
Yeah. This is funny because my answer is yes.
Oh, really?
I always think big. Like, once seriously, this is just how I work. Like, once somebody gives me an idea, I have to see in my head how far it could go. And since I've done podcasting before, since I've worked on the startings of creating a digital media company before, working with Amber was like, we have great chemistry. We're really entertaining and ridiculous. And we're both really smart and hardworking. Am I self-advertising enough for you yet?
Yeah.
If you don't stop, my head's going to fall off because of all this nodding. But yeah, absolutely.
But no, I mean, that's just it. Is like you have to recognize where your strengths are. And working with Amber is like is like working with a nonstop idea machine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I have this thing, and she's like, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, I could design this thing, I could make this comment, I could do that with it. And I'm like, okay, that's amazing. So I really feel like seeing where our potential could go, this was in the back of my mind as things that we could potentially do. And I really think we're kind of just starting. Like, we're past our first year. We're actually 18-ish episodes away from our 1 year or 100th podcast episode. Sorry, I'm really proud of that. Like, podcasting is not what people think podcasting is, and getting past like 10 episodes is not the norm. So to get to 100 episodes has just been kind of incredible. And I think like we've learned a lot that we can share with other people, that we can hopefully help create communities almost similar to the one that we have, if that's possible. You can't always replicate those things, but just a safe, fun space for people to hang out and talk about the things that they're passionate about. And yeah, I just kind of want to spend the rest of my life reading, writing, researching, and talking about it. That's what I want to do. And that's what I feel like I get to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I completely get it. And also all of the positive adjectives that you gave yourselves, Traci, I can see, sense, and hear it every time I listen to your show. The chemistry you've got is fantastic. I mean, if there's ever a way of sort of like projecting this sort of mysterious aura onto an audio file, you know, I don't know if there's a special program that you've got, but it's there. You do it.
Oh, I fucking love that. Could you please write a review that says that so we can put it on all of our websites?
Traci, throw on the mystique enhancer.
That's actually what any background noise is. It's the mystique enhancer. You called us out on it. You got it out. That's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, but but you know what I mean? It's just sometimes you listen to something and you feel, yeah, I can do this. Mm-hmm. But then there are some other time. I mean, I don't want to be critical of some other podcasters, because I think so many are brilliant. But then there are some that you listen to and straight away it's like, no, there's something about it that doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
But from the very first moment that I heard you guys, it was like, oh yeah, this is like I'm listening to friends almost. Yeah, mm-hmm. there is this sort of very. Yeah, I don't know. There's this welcoming, embracing element to the way that you sound, and you sort of you bounce off one another. Does that make sense?
I would say bouncing is accurate. Yeah.
We've known each other for a really long time. I mean, it's easy with Traci, and I tell myself this often, that if it was anyone else, it just wouldn't work, I don't think. I mean, yeah. To put it plainly.
I mean, so this weekend, my husband and I had an opportunity to actually spend some time together and just talk with each other. And whenever that happens, I end up becoming like this weepy, expressive bit of a mess about like the people in my life and the things that are happening that I love so much. And I was like, Amber, like she's just up there at the top. Like, I feel like we can do anything together. Like, in my life, I feel like I have two partners. I have my husband and I have Amber. And it's a really, like, not everybody who gets to work together gets to have that kind of connection. And I feel like it's helped to draw really good people towards us when we get to have conversations like these, and as we start to branch out into other things that we want to do and other subjects that we want to touch on. Blah, 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 blah. Talk for a living.
yeah, but you do. And the thing is, I mean, so a lot of people would find so much content, or producing so much content, they'd find that a real challenge to be able to continue
It is.
talking. Yeah, but you do it in such a natural manner, though, don't you?
Thanks.
As in, yeah, but you do, don't you? As in, you can see that there's a lot still to come. Always, almost in every show, you're both hungry to speak. Maybe. No?
Is that a really nice way of saying we interrupt each other a lot? Because that's what I feel like you just said.
It wasn't necessarily meant in that way, but
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I can tell when we do a recording and maybe one of us doesn't feel very well or something like that. Like, I mean, when you're sitting there listening to hours and hours of you and another person speak for this long, it's like, oh, I can tell, like, ooh, today, this week I didn't feel good. I remember, like, I can tell in my voice.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Traci. And it's always interesting, too, where I'm like, okay, but despite that, as I'm editing, I'm still kind of nodding along, like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Like, that's a good call, Traci. Like, I'm still, like, listening to ourselves. And even after hearing the same episode maybe twice through, I don't know, depending on how hard that edit was.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I come back out of it thinking, okay, like that was
really
still
fun.
A good episode.
Yeah.
It was still a good episode.
Yeah. And my older son Aiden has started doing the first run through of the edits for us. And I was talking to him the other day because, of course, one of his concerns was, I hear your voice all the time, Mom. Like, I don't know if I want to edit your podcast too, but like, he's really enjoying it. And he was like, I don't know how many times I end up like pushing my chair back, laughing and clapping my hands at something ridiculous the two of you have said. And I'm like, yep, that's my mom. That's Amber. Like, I mean, he knows us, and he still like cracks up over it. So like, and that makes me laugh too, because like if it's Aiden approved in my book, it's good to go.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how I feel as well. If Aiden thinks it's funny, I'm like, okay,
then
take it to the bank.
gotta have it. Yeah, like he'll be 22 in September, and I just feel like he's very like in touch more with things that I'm like, meh, I don't know much about because I'm 2 decades older than he is. So he has a different relation to things. Like when I look for content to consume on YouTube or something, I look for hour-long documentaries at the least. I do not look for short content, but that's what does well more often than not. So like getting opinions from Aiden, who's like, I like to watch this style of content, is so helpful for me. Like, thank you, Aiden, in the event that you decide to listen to this. Very grateful for your help.
Well, I mean, again, you bring up a great point because I'm exactly the same. As in, for me, a documentary or any kind of sort of research material has to last a certain amount of time. Otherwise, if the producers didn't bother creating shit for me to watch, why am I going to dedicate my time? So, I mean, I find myself watching and rewatching documentaries on YouTube, say, which are like 3-4 hours long. And then when I send a link to my to my brothers, and the response is, Zach, have you seen the length on this?
Yes.
It's not going to happen, Zach. Sorry, and it's unfortunate, but there's so much depth to this kind of content. Yeah, I mean, how can you get into something which only lasts? Oh, that's the wrong question. If it only lasts a few minutes, I mean, how can you really enjoy it? And
ask the millions of people who watch TikTok.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Is like that. Those quick bursts of information. They're kind of addictive. They get you ready for the next thing. And so it makes sense, but it's not something that, like, I'm kind of a slow, thoughtful, shuffly type person anyway. So I really appreciate getting, like, Aiden's viewpoint on, like, energy and stuff as well. So I think we're all different. We're all looking for different things. And I think if you can find a good way, and I mean, there are lots of content creators out there that, like, make really cool stuff really effective in a very short amount of time, and I love that. But there are just some things that I'm like, no, I would like to spend more than 6 minutes learning about the opium wars in China. That's been really hard
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think one of my problems, as also when I was younger, was being able to focus all of the information that I wanted to deliver into a sort of short kind of text. And there is a skill to it, of course, being able to sort of be very efficient with your words. But on the flip side, you're both obviously women, and the number of yeah, I'm getting somewhere. I admit it. The number of women content creators on YouTube is a lot less, if I'm not mistaken, than
Yes.
the number of male content creators.
By a lot.
Yeah, so it's brilliant that you're doing this. Is there a certain amount of sort of courage and don't give a shitness that you have to incorporate into? Yeah, I don't know if that's a real word, but let's just pretend it is.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I say yes.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And two, I mean, I've looked through some of the YouTubers' comments that I like watching. And I feel like if you're a woman, there seems to be, it feels like a different kind of landscape in the comment section, depending on what the topic may be. But it's always interesting, and with YouTube there is a bit of vulnerability. I can't talk. Words. It's hard. It's hard to see yourself sometimes and feel confident and make sure that that's not tripping you up on camera. So it can always be a little bit like, shit, when someone leaves something nasty in the comment section. But at the same time, you kind of just have to, wear your armor and just brush it off, because people behind their computer screens can be pretty hurtful sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I have to not think about the fact that we're recording and not think about the fact that it's like widely available. By widely, I mean it's on the internet, so it's available to anyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, anyone who has internet connection can access like some ridiculous video where I talk about tit shields. So there's that. And those are things that like you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to get pushback. And I feel as though like I don't mind pushback. I like various opinions. I don't expect everyone to like me. I'm actually totally okay with that. So, and I have been for a while because I'm kind of different than other people. And yeah, so I guess maybe thick skin, but definitely like don't let other people get to you as best you can. And that's hard to do if you're like sensitive and open to it. And frequently, like, I mean, we are, right? We're all kind of vulnerable to words that hurt.
Absolutely. I don't think it's related to gender at all. The fact that people can feel can suffer from the abuse that they receive. What is obviously sort of unequal is the amount of abuse aimed in the direction of women in comparison to the amount that is directed towards men. So this is definitely something which is at a huge imbalance. But I mean, it seems to me one of the ways that you guys also deal with it. For a start, you've got a great show. And you know this because so many people tell you that. You've got a great show. So you know that the idiots that come along and are critical, that it's not a reflection of you, it's more a reflection of them. But if other people, as like young women or girls want to come into this kind of a space, would you recommend then that one of the ways to do this is not just to do it in a sort of piecemeal, slow fashion, build up your sort of support base and fan base, but it's to also have that kind of safe group of people around you who are there to protect you even online. so that you can feel that confidence grow from the material you produce.
If you can find that online,
Yeah.
then yes, 100%. If you have even just a small collection of people that you can run ideas past or anything like that, it's always really helpful. I don't know sometimes if I would be able to do YouTube alone as one person making things, because it's almost a total different vibe when you're talking to a camera by yourself versus with another person in the conversation. So I don't know. I mean, there's always too that the advice of just finding someone who would like to do it with you and see how it goes. And that's, I mean, what I would hope for more women out there. Like, I love watching stuff in my downtime. If there were more smart, funny women out there creating things that I like to watch, then I'll watch it. It just seems like for the majority, the top YouTubers tend to be all men for some reason.
Yeah.
But it's just I guess being a woman, I like to watch other women creating things.
For sure. Yeah.
But I mean, the top 10 are the top 10 not because of the talent necessarily exhibited by the creators, even though I'm sure they're all fantastic. And I don't want to, suggest that all men are crap, because there are at least one or two out there that are fantastic. But
Gosh, I hope more than that.
yeah, me too, actually. But I mean, it's the actual support that they generate among the online community. So if the online community were a little bit more open to diversifying and to listening to voices that were not necessarily symbolic of their own, then we would have a far greater level of diversity, I think, at the top of the list.
Probably.
Yeah, and I mean, as you say that, like, I'm thinking about how having access to YouTube involves having devices that you usually have to pay for in some way, access to internet, which is not free. Like, who has access to YouTube primarily? And I think it's almost a reflection of economic inequality as much as it is, like, representation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, too, like if you've got a couple $1,000 camera laying at home and great equipment and you're good to go, that's always putting you at a
Ahead.
higher playing field. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, my youngest, when he watches YouTube, he watches the most annoying things. Like, people who, like, yell and scream and talk in baby voices really loud while they're rampaging through Minecraft, and I just...
You should probably make a point that this is not Aiden, not your
This is not,
20-year-old.
no, this is not my 22-year-old. This is my 7-year-old, my almost 8-year-old. Like, he loves this stuff. Like, the louder, the better, I sometimes think. And he loves to watch, like, this, like, dudes who just like to go and build large fortress mega block castles. And these guys get millions and millions and millions of views. And I'm like, for what? For what? I mean, it's entertaining, sure, but what kind of quality does that bring to... I mean, I don't know. I don't want to diss on people who decide to live their lives this way and what they do. Like, do what you want, do what makes you happy. Good for you if it pays off, seriously. But at the same time, it's just shit.
Why is so much of YouTube aimed that is aimed towards children makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Agreed. Like,
I can't like exactly like pinpoint what it is about it exactly, but I'm just like I don't know about this.
Yeah, it feels almost predatory in some ways, like people who are adopting a more childlike persona to connect with the audience they're aiming at, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable too. I don't like it.
I mean, my son, my little boy at least, is the same. My older boy was the same, watching this especially Minecraft. It seems.
Minecraft is
But
like...
they turn into zombies, don't they? On the sofa, you speak to them, hello, and it's
Yeah. There are
no,
times where I'm
nothing.
like, Arthur, like just get right next to him, get right in his face. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
we try to limit his screen time, but I mean, there's only so much he can do sometimes, you know? And like so much that we cannot supervise because, I mean, especially when like the pandemic shut everything down, we had him home all the time. And like, what do you do with a high energy 5, 6, 7 year old? I mean, with any kid really, for a long period of time, sometimes it's okay. And you need them to be a zombie so that you can take a couple deep breaths and return to getting shit done. So it's a little like nerve-wracking sometimes, like what he watches, but then other times he'll be like, hey, did you know this about this moon of Saturn, or did you know this about water? And I'm like, I didn't. I'm like, where did you learn that? YouTube.
yeah.
So it really is like there's good stuff, there's not great stuff, there's stuff in between, but I mean, I think we kind of know how we want to approach it, and the idea of having like a friendly space, like not take ourselves too seriously. I think that's a big thing. Like, I am more than likely going to fuck something up at some point. It's inevitable. I'm okay with that.
You don't fuck things up too often. You are you're a constant microphone puncher, I will say.
I am. Aiden's even giving me shit for it, so I'm gonna be more careful, I promise. I can't help it, I get excited, my hands go everywhere, so sorry guys.
No, that's cool. That's fair enough. It's your microphone, so it's,
I just found out that my carbonated water has been picking up on microphone for the past couple weeks. I couldn't figure out for the life of me what the background noise is, and you know, you're unplugging things, plugging things back in, checking all your equipment, and I was sitting here, I poured my water a few weeks ago, and I was like,
So
oh my god, this is it. This is what it is. Tiny bubbles.
Noise gate didn't even take it out.
it was picking up the waters, the bubble in your water sort of exploding as okay.
Yeah.
That's quite sensitive, isn't it? Then, wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that.
Making content is weird.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah. Soon they're going to create microphones so sensitive you'll be able to track the blood circulating around your body.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the microphone picked up Tracy's heartbeat the other week when I edited audio. She leaned over and it was like right at her chest. I swear, Tracy.
I believe it.
Watch our latest YouTube video.
Okay.
I didn't cut it out.
That's so funny. Okay, yeah, I'll have to. My memory's so shitty. I'm like, what did we even talk about? Is this on the Band of the Red Hand one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right, cool. I love the Band of the Red Hand, so that's definitely going to be observed by me. Okay, all right, cool. Which brings up another topic then. So you've started a new. Okay, can you please explain it, because it's not really a podcast, but it's also, is it more book review? How would you describe it? This is the Expanse.
Go ahead.
Well, we have been doing a lot of reading in our off time, which we're big readers. So obviously the Wheel of Time, it can't just be the Wheel of Time all the time. And we wanted a space for other things that we were reading, maybe TV shows we were watching. And the goal was setting up a Discord and getting more people to interact and hopefully want to take part with us. So, for example, maybe I'm watching a show that someone else really likes, but Tracy isn't watching it. And then there's that chance where like me and this other person could make a video about it. Or, for example, we are starting to read The Expanse and we wanted to bring more people in because so often it's just the two of us. And what you were talking about earlier is having a space and a community for people that are maybe wanting to make content and not really quite sure where to start. And that's kind of where There Is No Book Club started. It's called There Is No Book Club. And we kind of just want to make Tracy.
There is no book club? Okay, sorry.
We just wanted to make a space that kind of felt like an area where people can throw ideas back and forth and find other people that want to talk about the books they're reading, the shows they're watching, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, the love of books is real. I mean, I have so many books that I own that I've never read, but I would not get rid of them from my library because I love having them. Maybe someday I'll read them. It could happen. But I think that... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to...
I will. Tracy, go.
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
All right. So I will say that one of the hardest things that I've found while trying to set this up and organize is when we went into it, I think one of the main goals was bringing more women into this because, like we've been talking about, it's a lot harder to find women content creators out there. And right off the bat, when Tracy and I were kind of floating this idea around and talking to other people about it, we were like, we need more women who want to get involved in this.
Yeah.
And it was really hard. And when we kind of like opened things up and we're like, we're looking for people who also like are wanting to make videos about whatever, books, TV shows, etc. It was always men responding like, oh yeah, for sure, I would love to do videos. So it kind of got to the point where I had to take a step back and was like, okay, I need to rethink this and make sure that I'm like being one-on-one with enough women that I feel like I know they would be great at it, and kind of be like, look, like this is the thing. We need more like-minded women out there. And I know you're smart and I know you're funny and I can listen to you talk for hours. We're friends. Like, do you want to do this? And it's kind of like, you know, they're putting the toe in the water and still not quite sure. But a lot of the men on Discord are like, yes, absolutely. When's the next video? Sign me up.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, oh, okay, I've got to think some things through now and try and figure out how to make things, I don't know, safer feeling, I guess. If that makes sense.
For me, it makes a lot of sense because I've spoken with lots and lots of women, as you may know, about these kinds of topics. So if anybody were to sort of peruse the titles that I've got or the people who I've spoken with, the vast majority are women, and that's by design. It's because I want to give women a voice. Okay, it's not exactly a big channel, but they still create a voice which they can then share with their own communities, their own friends, and so on.
Yeah.
One thing that I've found a lot of women say, because a lot of the guys that I ask, do you want to come and do a podcast with me? Yeah, man, that sounds like a laugh. Let's do it. But when I've asked a woman for the first time, they've said, oh, but nobody would be interested in hearing what I have to say. You know, and it's a completely different reflection.
Yeah, I was just gonna say heartbreaking.
Yeah, but the problem is it's so wrong. As in, I remember one person said, yeah, but nobody would want to listen. And then we got talking, and it turned out that this person was doing lots of really cool, important, interesting stuff. And I'm like, this is exactly what people need to hear. You know, would you say there's a different sort of valuation that women give of their own work and their own selves?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't jump in and say that. I don't know. What do you think, Amber?
I don't know. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I also feel like I'm always my biggest critic anyways. So I don't know. But again, like how much of that is just, nature versus nurture? Like what's your upbringing like?
Mm-hmm.
How are you raised?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's personally, I know I'm too hard on myself sometimes. So I can see that being the case for other women out there.
Mm-hmm.
And men too. But I'm a woman, so I can't speak for a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, like, when I went back to school, I was generally much, much older than the majority of my classmates. Like, I was closer in age to my professors than I was to my classmates. But I still made some really amazing friendships with some women who are like in their 20s, like got to celebrate their 21st birthdays for a couple of them. They were that young, but they are incredible. They're driven, they're well spoken, they're super fun to hang out with. Like each one of them like gave me such a gift while I got to learn with them, but like they're the exact same way. They're their own hardest critics. They're the first ones to be like, I don't know if what I did is good enough. Like, I don't think that this is interesting enough about myself. And I'm always like, no, you're wonderful. Jump on that opportunity. Get out there and get it. Like, ugh, they're just amazing. They're just amazing. And I think that there are so many people, and I'm not just even talking about like, I'm not even just talking about women, of course, but I do feel as though it is, in this situation, I feel like there is a gender issue to be discussed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can argue with hard data showing gaps between genders. Among genders, I think would probably be a better thing to say, really. Um, and so, like, when we focus on doing something, like, I immediately think of my girlfriends. Who can I bring in on this project to do something? Like, the last project, the last podcast that I did was focused entirely on women who were doing things in the city where I live. And I mean, it was picked up by our local NPR station, like, because they were like, we don't have any content that is solely focused on women. So that meant that, like, National Public Radio is not producing enough content focused on women. It's not just there isn't enough discussion around gender. It's still a learning process for many of us. It is for me all the time. And yeah, I feel as though we need to like have spaces for that. And I like that Amber is such a warrior for it. Like it inspires me so much. Love that.
Yeah, but then I feel like kind of like the bad guy too when it's like six guys and they're like, I want to do it, I want to do it. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
shoot. Like, I want to bring as many people on as I can, but at the same time, I've got a goal.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a goal.
Yeah, but I mean, us guys have to understand, what's going on. As in, I think I'm pretty sure that most of the guys who accepted your invitation to participate in, There Is No Book Club, are all extremely supportive and can all be considered allies.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Without a
I'm
doubt.
sure they understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a list of people that I'm working to bring into some of the stuff that we're doing. And one of them, she has her master's in library science and
Wow.
she's leaving the public sector and she wants to do something like what we're doing. And she has so much experience organizing things like this. And I'm like, Lisa, when are you done? I need you. Like, I think she's going to be a brilliant asset to what we do. I know she wants to create some of her own content. She wants to be writing. Like, she's just one of those people who's, like, really empathetic. And she has children who, they're incredible. They're incredible children because they have incredible parents. And I can't wait to get her, like, involved with us. And Mary.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, library science. I've never even heard of it. So after this, I'm going to do some research and find out what on earth is. I mean, I can work it out, I guess, but I mean, I want to find out what it
Unfortunately,
really is.
unfortunately, it's something required for pretty much any library, like main library position, which is ridiculous because a master's to attain a master's in the US is really expensive, and what you're going to get paid for it is like you have to be that in your job for a long time and you have to work your way up. And she's done that. She's worked really hard at what she's doing and she's brilliant at it, but she's also ready to focus on herself and her family and do something that feeds her in a different way. And I'm like, I have things going on. Come join us. Like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to create. That's what I want us to keep working towards.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic goal. I mean, the thing is, some people would listen to this and say, feminists and so on. It's, well, that's cool. I think good. Let them do that. Let them say that. But
yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
The real problem is that by not making the genders equal, we're actually holding back society as a whole.
Absolutely.
And so therefore, this is the thing that so many people just fail to comprehend. We're in a shit situation that we're in because for thousands of years, we haven't had an equal society. And if we had done over all of those years, I can't possibly imagine the amount of scientific and technological developments that we would have made. Mm-hmm. But the women weren't allowed to be free in their studies. And this is the consequence. We're still at war. We still behave in many ways as though it's the 17th or 16th century. We're peasants,
How dare you? I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I prefer to be at least bougie to some extent, please. Just
Okay,
not nobility, but
I'm the peasant. You are the noble. Okay.
No, I don't want to be a noble. I just want to be upper middle class. Come on now. Aspirations.
True. Fair enough.
Middle class fancy.
What's that?
Middle class fancy.
Right.
Tracy.
That's me.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
But yeah, so I mean, this is the argument that I put forward. So I mean, there are any number of arguments that can be put forward. This one works for me, but I just don't see the world through the same kind of glasses that other people see it. So for me, if something is unequal and out of balance, then I think it's not natural. Okay, all right. Any other thoughts on that, or we can move on to the next, which is sort of connected, but it's basically how do you keep doing it all? Where does the energy come from?
I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I'm like, how? I mean, I think that's actually a question we ask ourselves often, and each other. Like, how do we get all of this done?
Sometimes it's not possible. I mean, sometimes it's just not.
Yeah. But I mean, our moments like that have been far rarer than our moments where we're like, I mean, I've dropped our final episode at 1:58 a.m. my time, knowing that it's going to go, like, it's going to publish 8 a.m. for Amber's time zone. Like, it just cuts real close sometimes because there are a million other things happening. But I think the original purpose of what we started out doing, to have fun, to create fun content that people enjoy and can connect over, and it's like Thursdays are the highlight of my week every week because that's the day we record. Like, I love it. I look forward to it. I get my coffee, I get my water, I hang out. Like, I like doing audio, so editing is even fun. For me, I prefer audio to video. Amber prefers video, so that's not a bad balance to have. And the fact that we can do each other's job in a lot of ways really helps too. So that like the main things, like our content, our main content, we can both like post it and get it taken care of when we want and need to. So if one of us is down and out, we have somebody like that can come in and pick up the pieces. And we want to expand that team. Like I said, we've got my older son Aiden working on this for us. I would love for him to make content. He's so damn funny. And I have like a few friends from school that I've already been talking to about having them come and be a part of this while we work on making it grow, because we are only 2 people.
Yeah.
And right now we have at least 3 projects going. So it's a lot. It's a lot, but I think it's ultimately going to be super worth it. And it already has been. Like, we were sometimes like, we've been heard in like close to 100 countries. That's just wild. Is that real? What the hell? It's bizarre, like, to do something like this and to have that kind of like reception, I guess. And I don't know. I don't know if we're like a huge podcast or anything, but I think for like our niche topic that we cover, I think we're doing pretty okay.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay,
Agreed.
cool. I wanted to make sure that you felt the same way, because like a lot of times I'm like, we are kicking ass. Oh my God, look at this. Like, sometimes we're just really on and it's great. But like Amber said, we're human, and it comes out in our voices sometimes, and our actions sometimes. Like, yeah. I think we just always try to do the best we can and not beat ourselves up too hard when we can't. Because, I mean, that's something that we all do. I think, again, this is an area where women kind of like hit themselves maybe harder than men do, you know? Like, there's always I feel as though in a lot of ways there's always a pressure to prove yourself. Like, at least for me, I'm that kind of person. Like, if you tell me I can't do something, I will do it, and I will rub your face in it nicely. It'll be really nice. I'll smile and everything. But like, I would like to make things that don't feel possible, or even just like being good at something. I like that too. So, I don't know. I don't know what my point is anymore. I don't know how we do what we do. Do you see what I mean? Ugh. So embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah, Amber, what about you? I mean, what motivates you? Because, okay, obviously you've got these wonderful goals that you elaborated on earlier, but you've got to get up every day and do that and plan it. And yeah, how do you keep going, in the face of those challenges?
I think for me, it's more of like my artistic side, like having an outlet of a way to like express yourself and have it be something kind of artistic. I mean, when you're tailoring what the episode is going to be that week, there's, the research mode, and then there's the kind of like abstract thinking mode where it's like, okay, but who is this episode for? Mm-hmm. Is this going to be for someone like me? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be for someone who likes the Wheel of Time, who maybe hasn't read the books but have only seen the TV show? So there's always these thoughts in the back of my head. And then when it comes to the YouTube episode or maybe the podcast episode, it's really fun kind of like seeing all the creation come alive. Mm-hmm. And it kind of like becomes a monster of its own. And it takes, sometimes it takes a shape you didn't originally think that it was going to. Mm-mm. And it's always really fun and interesting to see how things turn out at the end of the recording and then at the end of the edit. And I think for me, like, I like staying busy in that aspect. And when it is at a point where I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back and kind of catch my breath, there's always those few days in between. And when you come back, you're like, okay, I'm ready, invigorated, let's go.
Yeah. I think we've been very thoughtful about how we choose to approach our schedules. And like, there's always an encouragement of taking care of your health, your family, your home. And I mean, I know maybe that sounds like idealistic or old-fashioned or whatever, but I feel as though if you can't take care of those things, then everything else isn't going to feel like right. It's not going to feel good.
We're a health over hustle
podcast. Yes! That's actually our newest project too. Like, we just launched a website for Cozy Contorta, which is like a new kind of overarching thing that we're going to do that's going to have like that theme to it, is like the health over hustle, because it's necessary. We need to stop burning each other out. It's bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
She says as she tackles another project.
I know, right?
I was going to say.
But I try to be very mindful about what like burnout looks like, and I try to be as transparent as possible with Amber about what's happening in my life, because again, like needy family, lots of things that go on like behind the scenes that other people don't get to be a part of, like those things take their toll. And so it's really important that we be able to like say, you take care of yourself today, I've got this, and we'll catch up when you're feeling a little better, or you've been able to wrangle your dogs into some semblance of well-behavedness. You know, like that's just accept that life is life and it's messy, but you can still have something that feels good. Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about your shop either, because you also design your own, if I'm not mistaken. You
Oh,
design
that
your
is
own
all Amber.
merchant. Okay. Yeah.
All those glorious designs, that is her, 100%.
You've done a couple.
Yeah, I've done 2, I think. It's the same design on 2 different styles of coffee mugs. I think that's all I've done. Our shop has like 60 products in it, and I did like 2. And I don't mind, because everything that Amber makes, I'm like, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want all those notebooks. That tote bag that we have is awesome. It holds so much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber, what's your favorite creation of your own?
Ooh, what a good question.
Of all of the newer stuff that's in the shop right now, that little fork root mug is just really cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to be sold to Aes Sedai, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean...
But it has like plants all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly plants, but it's still beautiful.
It's so cute. I love it. And we just had our first shop giveaway, and actually both of the winners wanted the camp mugs. One of them wanted the fork root mug, and the other one asked for the Shanshan cough mug. And I'm like, yes, those are such good choices. I love this. And they're really cute. Like, I ordered one as a sample, and it's freaking adorable. So, yeah, very cool. I love everything.
Yeah, fantastic. I have been on the shop site, and actually I have to make I haven't made a purchase yet. I have to make a purchase. Now, I have to deal with the shipping. I have to deal with the shipping.
No, you don't.
It's
you know what?
Tax. Have you got a shop in the EU? Oh,
no,
yeah.
wait.
Tell me,
Let me tell you.
Tell me, please.
We are working on figuring out European shipping, but we're figuring out our United States shipping first, just because it's less messy.
But the taxes and the everything in Germany is so expensive.
Yeah,
So expensive.
so
I got a
unfortunate.
Dusty Wheel mug when we were on the Dusty Wheel, and it went to prison for a little bit of time. I had to bail it out, but I didn't know that I had to pay for anything. So I showed up and they were like, you ordered this. And I was like, I didn't order this. So they, cut open the box and show it to me. And I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. Got to pay close to €13 for a free item.
Right?
Love
Yeah,
it.
a gift. Here's your gift.
Yep.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's wild.
It's outrageous.
That's wild.
I know you guys are big film buffs, and so therefore clearly you were glued to your television screens as the Oscars played out before your very eyes.
No.
No, okay, fair enough.
I didn't watch it either.
No, I didn't even know it happened. Like, I
Okay.
opened up my news app, and it was like, things that happened at the Oscars. I was like, oh, the Oscars happened. Cool.
Yeah, but
That's-
you've heard about it since then. You obviously we're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, though. Truthfully. Like, I know it happened. My son kind of explained it to me, and then I was like, I have stuff to do.
Yes. When you messaged me, you said
Oh, yeah.
Will Smith slapped Kid Rock, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I was kind of into it for a second. Rock is so terrible.
Right?
He's. Anyways, it was not Kid Rock, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I found it on Twitter, and I watched it. I don't know. At first I thought it was like fake. Like I thought it was like a bit they were doing, but I guess it's not.
Don't slap people. It's not cool.
Unless they want to be slapped.
Okay, in
We
that
don't kink
case,
shame.
that's so true. No kink shaming on this podcast. Oh, wait, that's our podcast. You don't do that either, do you? I don't want to speak on your behalf.
To be honest, I've never actually requested such a thing.
It's not something that goes into your guest rules. I don't kink shame, just so you know.
Yeah,
In
no,
the event that it goes that way. This is what I'm
No.
talking about. These are the things that come out of our mouths.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I've learned so many of these terms from your podcast. I'm like, wait a minute, does that really exist? And then I look it up, and I'm like, oh, that does exist. Okay, all right, that's an interesting thing.
You're
but
welcome.
Yeah, so it's yeah,
Amber, are you okay? I can't see you, so I don't know if you're okay.
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
No.
All
All
we're
right.
so funny.
Yeah, you are, and yeah, I always appreciate it when we have an opportunity to speak, but I also really do appreciate also the amount of content that you produce, and I say this truly because I do look forward to that sort of notification where I've got yet another podcast from you guys, and yeah, it's brilliant. So. Thank you very much. You're great sports for coming back and talking to me, and yeah, it's like yeah, truly appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having
always
us.
fun.
Yeah, agreed.
It's always fun.
Yeah, I had fun.
2 and a mic. 2, 2.